Greece versus Canada.
Please. Thank you. Any seats for now? Players are ready.
For a place in the knockout stages.
$15 love.
How about that? To get things started. Mark Philippoussis alongside me. We've got the bull, Josh Eagle, courtside, keeping a beady eye on proceedings.
Yeah, very good evening, guys. It's a full house down here. Plenty of atmosphere, as you would expect whenever Team Greece play here. And I'm really fascinated just to see how well Stefanos plays. He has played his best, very best tennis on the courts here in Australia over the past few years. And a real opportunity just to see where he really is at the start of this season. Got some big points coming off, finalist at last year's Australian Open, so I think he'd be pretty eager tonight.
15-13.
Mark, do you think he'd be happier playing Steven Diez, or would he perhaps want a more established competition and somebody like Felix?
I think considering the off-season he's had, and this one being his first match, I think he's definitely happier playing Diez. Again, nothing against him. He's a very tough player, but Diez doesn't have the firepower that Steven has, that's for sure.
Mark, how much pressure do you think Stefanos would be feeling? I mean, everyone's expecting him here in this whole stadium to win. Of course, his team would be, and so would he. But, you know, these are not easy matchups when you're coming off a pre-season, so fair bit of pressure.
Josh, Stefanos isn't one to think about, look at that pressure side of certain expectations. I think for him, his focus, he's pretty well focused when he gets on the court. He knows what he does well, what he doesn't, and what he should do in his matches. But it's just allowing himself to play that kind of tennis, but also having the understanding to work on the stuff that isn't his strengths. That's the biggest thing.
And Team Greece.
We've touched upon it that a lot of these players, it's very difficult. He's been 3 in the world, he's 2 Grand Slam finalists, and to tell someone to maybe adjust something, work on something, and stick to it, that you need to do that, is sometimes difficult.
Yeah, and I don't know about you, Josh, but for me, I would just look to the very best players. I look at the guys that have won 20 majors, right, and say, well, they continue to evolve. They keep tinkering every off-season. So if they're doing it, surely you should be, Josh.
No, I couldn't agree more, and I think that's the difference, isn't it? You just look at how desperate they are for improvement. Team Novak and, of course, Rafa, Roger, the greats. That's what, is just simply amazing every day, that attitude to get better. Of course, all players have it, but, they leave no stone unturned, that's for sure. And, you got to tip your hat to that. And I guess that'll be the challenge for the likes of this next generation coming through. Of course, he's not next generation Tsitsipas. He's been to the final twice, so... and he's got to push himself to get better.
Yeah, 2024. We'll keep a close eye on how his game unfolds. Steven Diez for Team Canada. first point on serve.
$15 love.
It's no surprises that, given his stature, Stephen, idol growing up was David Ferrer, similar in stature, pretty punchy from the back of the court.
That was Ferrer-like, that backhand down the line.
And you see the separation of the hands, almost identical to David.
Yeah, only a few players I've ever seen have separation on a double-hander. Very few players have that. It's highly unusual.
That's something special, that shot.
15 all.
I want to know from you guys where the Tsitsipas forehand ranks as far as forehands go with the current crop of players on tour.
I would have to say, for me, top 3.
Definitely top 3. For me, it's right up there. 1 and 2, he's with Novak in that department. Stop it! He has come to play.
All guns blazing, holding the baseline, refusing to budge.
15-14.
He is just absolutely throwing blow after blow here, taking it earlier. I love it when he approaches this with his backhand, really gets on that front foot. That's when he hits his backhand the best. It's when he gets pushed deep in the court and people attack that backhand where sometimes he comes a little unstuck, but this has been an impressive start.
Backhand winner's given him 2 break points. Impressive. Great vision.
You could just feel the energy, the atmosphere here courtside, and the intensity. This is not the usual intensity that Steven Diez would be facing or used to experiencing at the challenger level. This is a real step up in class. The interesting thing will be to see how long he can sustain this quality of play.
I think that's the one, Josh, you talk about his backhand, he loses sometimes. The one where there's a little less pace to work with, it's a little higher up on the shoulder, and it just doesn't quite, it comes off it, kind of, the ball doesn't hit through it, bring it back in the court. Tends to do the same thing on the second serve backhand returns, but so far, if there's anyone who's missed, he's been in the ball beautifully.
Yeah, Robbie, you asked the question before about the forehand of Tsitsipas. Oh, look, of course it's top 3. It has to be, because It is actually the backhand that is his weakness, and that is probably why he hasn't won a Grand Slam yet. The great players can get to Tsitsipas's backhand. They can push him back. And I just think for a one-hander, he's still got a lot of room for improvement with his slice. He can learn more skill. He can chip it short, which we don't see him use that slice a lot. And I know, Mark, you've spent time with him, and I'd like to see a bit more of that slice from Stefanos.
Josh, that was definitely something that I tried to be vocal about, because I believe it's an incredibly important shot for anyone, but especially for him, because he mixes up the play, but he can also use it to open up the court and use his forehand. Like I said, once he gets his forehand in play, it puts a lot of pressure on his opponents.
I've been getting a lot of texts from all the Spaniards watching, Josh, saying, what about Alcaraz? What about Alcaraz? I think his forehand's the best. But I think over the last year, I think if we've put Alcaraz's forehand under the microscope, we have seen that shot leak a lot of errors when he isn't playing his best tennis. And he misses it a lot.
Oh, it's extraordinary.
Can you believe it? A backhand of stratospheric proportions lands in the court.
That missed 14 railings up there. I don't know how it didn't clip some part of that roof structure. I just hope we get a shot of it.
He's gone between all of those pieces of metal. I mean, if you did that 100 times on that trajectory, you'd struggle to stay away from the metal. He's got the early break.
I think an underrated part of Tsitsipas's game is his athletic ability. He's a big man. You stand next to him, he's at least 6'4". I just think he's really athletic. So when he's moving well, he's fit and healthy, and he can get around and use that forehand, it's even more potent.
Very good observation. We'll keep an eye on his forehand heaviness, and of course hunting the third shot as a forehand. He's so good at that. After the serve, first strike, he gets to use the forehand.
(30-15). Greece is requesting a replay on the left as well.
missed by much. Of course, all the line calling is automated. And all those voices are pre-recorded, mix of everything. Men, women, kids. Like it, showing good intent. He's down a break,
30-40.
but not through lack of industry.
Yeah, that's the sort of point Tsitsipas wants to play a lot more of in 2024.
Diez.
Just getting on that forehand, really taking time away from his opponent and just trying to finish more. I just think when we've seen the very best of Tsitsipas, that is the game style that he needs to replicate.
Joshua talking about moving forward, body weight getting to the net, finish off the point.
Yeah, I love it. I just think he's got such a big wingspan. He can volley well.
Tough to pass.
Yeah.
You don't seem too often missing his smashes too. He gets back really well for those smashes.
You know, in sport, if you can take time away from your opponent in any sport, it's a real weapon, and he can do that. And I just love when he's landing big serves and looking for that forehand and coming forward and trying to keep the point short, take rhythm away from opponents along with time.
That is something special, that shot, when it's in full flow, and he's shown us a fair few of those, and it's kept his fans very happy in the early stages of this contest. Team Greece lead 3-0.
Hey, buddy.
Of course, we're in Sydney, and, well, Sydney Harbour is a place that everybody loves to see and visit when they're in this world-class city. It's really an aquatic playground for Sydney-siders, home to the iconic Sydney Opera House and the Sydney Harbour Bridge, and a beautiful place to watch a summer evening sunset. A couple of days ago, all eyes of the world were on that structure as they welcomed in the new year.
Time.
Some nice upgrades done to the Ken Rosewall Arena last couple of years. The structure looks fantastic. I love the fact that it's open on the sides there. Allow the fresh air to get in.
Well, in fact, what it does is it makes it really quite, it can change the conditions. It's a humid day here.
Thank you.
Quite an overcast day, as you can see there in Sydney.
Much.
And once you get a full stadium here, the ball can fluff up, it can get heavy.
15 all.
Guys, you do see this a bit, don't you? A lower-ranked player coming up against one of the greats or the real best in our sport, and sometimes they can sustain it for a period, and then what you don't want to see is these guys overplay. And I hope for Steven Diez's case that he can just keep doing what he knows, what he can do, what he's capable of, and I just don't want to see him overplay in this situation.
30 all.
Josh, his game plan should be, okay, I can't hit this guy off the court, but I'm certainly not going to give him some unforced series of 3 points. I'm going to make him work for it and look to work that backhand.
40.
No, I agree. If you're Steven Diez, you would want to try and get 80 to 90% of every rally ball and every single shot you can to the backhand of Tsitsipas, just to send that message and go, well, I know you've got a good forehand, but let's have a look at this backhand over sustained periods of the match and just try and break it down a little bit where he might drop a few short and make a few errors.
That's some good all-court tennis, and he knows it. Felix likes it too.
Team Greece leads 3-1.
As you boys were suggesting, give him a steady diet of backhands. Love the way he's attacked that volley. Sounds like the physio has been called. I have seen Diez just holding on that left hip of his.
You've got a good view from there, Josh. But
15.
that's the one where it doesn't have to be a winner. You know, it's a good return at their feet and just hitting the outside of the ball, get it back cross court, look to open the court so you can get the forehand involved. It's a tough one to accelerate off the back foot.
That is not an easy shot. He has made it look easy.
15 all.
So often when you're hitting a smash, as you well know, you're going backwards, right? You run forwards to hit it, you can often put that thing in the back fence.
That one for me, I don't understand. You know, good return, got it up high to the backhand. You have a chance to hit a forehand. It doesn't have to be a winner, but that was pretty much in the middle of the right side of the court, right in the hitting zone for Steph.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. And Steph's one of those guys, you've got to be so careful when you go to his backhand because the forehand is so big. Look at the average topspin forehand speed there, the revs that he's got on that thing when you compare it to Diez's forehand. Almost 800 RPMs more for Tsitsipas versus Diez. That thing is adorned with all manner of spin.
30 all.
Just a great indication of how well he is spreading the court on that occasion. You can see the green dots separated nicely. He's not happy with his hip though. Can't move that way.
40-13.
It's never a word you want to hear coming out of your player. Especially playing against someone like Tsitsipas. The firepower coming at you in your game is built around movement.
Game, Team Greece.
That'll sail along. Team Greece keep their ascendancy in the opening 5
Team Greece
games.
leads 4 games to 1.
They lead 4-1.
Could you do me a favor and get some more towels, please? Thank you.
So it does look like it's going to be an injury timeout
Ladies and
for
gentlemen,
Steven Diez.
Steven Diez for Team Canada is now receiving a medical timeout.
And 3 minutes, of course, for the MTO. It's in and around that hip area, the TFL, the tensor fascia lata muscle. It's a small little muscle there in the hip. It's almost a triangular shape, and it controls so many different things. Your IT band, your lower back, everything comes in that area. And he's getting a proper working out. It's one of those areas where a few muscles connect, and the referral pain can really hurt. Medical timeouts for the most part end up just being a rub. Occasionally there's an ankle tape job that's needed to be done. Diez will be hoping to tap into some of the DJ's music. He needs some power right now.
He needs some mojo going his way. You know, the first match was a tough one. Rugby, a lot of time pre-season might be pushing a little bit hard on the physical side, and you come out, you play a match, and you go out and you just stretch out wide. The intensity is definitely not the same as much as you try to do it on the practice court as a match with stress involved and things like that. So the body's under a lot more stress. Sometimes tweak something. Come back very easily. Hopefully that's all it is, just a little tweak.
Time.
This is the highest ranked player that Steven Diez has ever played against. Before today, that was Nicholas Jerry at 19 in the world. Tsitsipas, of course, ranked 6 at the moment. Okay, medical timeout complete. Canada playing catch-up.
15 left.
Shaking out it's that left side too. So every time he lands on his serve, he's going to feel that a little bit.
I think that's a shot as well, Josh, that could do with some improvement next year, the return of serve.
Yeah, I think it's such an advantage, isn't it, for a double-hander when they've got the two hands. Once the ball gets up high, above shoulder height, it's a much easier return for a double-hander. I think Stefanos, if he can use that chip return, like a Roger Federer developed really well in the back end of his career. We've seen Dimitrov have success with that chip, and just to add extra variation, I think he has grown up loving hitting the one-hander, but I just think if he can add slight adjustments and variation, it'll just only hold him in good stead moving forward.
Josh, I completely agree. It's one thing to have a really nice shot hit through it, whether you've seen him hit the backhand beautifully at times. But if you're hitting it hard and it's in the middle of the court and still deep, someone's going to use your power. But if you can open up the court, get that angle, then change direction down the line like you can on the forehand side, my goodness, would it be a nightmare to play against.
Game. Team Canada. Team Greece leads 4 games to 2.
So after the early break, Diez has done a good job of sticking around.
You know, you talk about the backhand side, and I think tennis is a funny game. A lot of punters or people or viewers at home would think, gee, the backhand, you know, you do hit a lot of back winners from it, but you actually don't. If you look at the numbers and the stats throughout the course of the year, there's a very few backhand winners hit compared to the forehand. So it's the guys who have the really solid backhand that doesn't make any unforced errors and have good depth with it, that then so they can use the forehand, are the ones that generally win.
Guys, that was the volley that used to drive me nuts in practice. Drop volley off the high volley, whether it's a forehand or a backhand side. I do not like seeing that shot.
Where's the correct volley here, Mark? Where should this go?
I mean, you can punch it down the line, angle, punch across. I mean, just punch it.
Yep.
Punch down the line, cover the line. But to try and hit a drop volley off the high volleys,
There's the Tsitsipas serve plus forehand combo. It's lethal. His inside in, I think, is the best on tour. Nicholas Jerry could take a page out of this one.
Right, yeah.
Really struggled with his shot yesterday, that specific one. Some side spin needed. There it is again.
Yeah, Robbie, you're spot on. It's so good because he is hunting, he's looking, he's desperate to get on that, and he just takes it so early. And when you get a bird's eye view here courtside, look how early he's getting up inside that baseline, making contact like nearly a metre inside the baseline. That is just makes it impossible to defend against.
It's impressive. Ask some good questions, says Diez. He hasn't been intimidated by the situation. A little too casual for my liking. Got to get the eyes and the legs down there to the height of the ball.
40-13.
One of the biggest differences between these two is the quality of the first serve.
Cannot be dropping it short there.
Yeah, it's more the same mark.
5 games to 2.
And it keeps moving in the right direction for his team. They lead 5-2. Well, we like to call this scene Vivid Sydney. It began in 2009. It's a 3-week festival of lights across Sydney Harbour and the surrounding areas. One of the original creators of the event was inspired to light up the Sydney Opera House after seeing illuminated buildings in London back in 2007. And more than 2 million people attend the Vivid Sydney every year. I mean, that is so cool. Of course, the 2024 edition is set to take place on the 24th of May to the 15th of June. So if you're in the area, come check it out.
Time.
New balls for Team Canada. It's so good. Just the superlatives for it. Mesmerizing.
Yeah, take a look at the desperation with the footwork. You know, you've got to work hard physically to get around and get yourself in that position. It's the little things, the 1 and 2 percenters that he does so well.
That was a good counter to the chip.
15. 15-13.
You know, it's easy from the sideline, isn't it, or up in the commentary box, but if you're Steven Diez, he would genuinely feel if he gets himself into a cross-court backhand rally that he should be feeling pretty comfortable, but he just hasn't been able to do it enough in today's match, really. He's just been under pressure right from the start.
Let's for service.
So 42 minutes on the board, and we have arrived at set point for Greece. Tsitsipas with a perfectly executed forehand to round out the opening sets. He bags it 6-2. What do you make of those numbers?
First serve points 180. He's just too dominant. There's way too many unforced errors coming from Diez's racket. 9 in that set, and there was a 6-2 set. You know, we normally see Steph with some unforced errors, but he's got the firepower behind it, and he can afford to miss a couple here and there. But way too many unforced errors. But look at that. Net points 1, 6 out of 6. Yeah, that's got to say something. Going to need to come forward a little bit more.
Yeah, it was a great set, really, wasn't it? As we take a look at some of these highlights, and this is a really good opportunity for Stefanos to just to go out in a match situation and really find ways to add extra dimensions to his game and just find little ways to improve. And because if he keeps doing what he's been doing the last couple of years, I'm not so sure he's going to win a slam. He needs to find something a little extra. And, you know, this is the perfect opportunity out here against a player, a lower-ranked player who's, of course, quality, just to experiment.
Josh, I couldn't agree more. And one of those things that I'd love to see him do when he hasn't done once is a 7 volley. You know, 30 love, 40 love. He's had hardly any pressure except for that one break point, the second service game, but he hasn't served and volleyed once.
No, I just sort of wonder. I just wonder what the thought would be in their camp. Like it almost needs to be a sustained intent where you go for the next 2 or 3 months. Every service game you have to serve volley once.
Look, I had a rule that I said every service game I'd like to see 1 7 volley.
Yeah.
You know, and there were times, you know, for instance, you're playing a practice match and you're playing a tiebreaker. Okay, 7 volley every first serve in his tiebreaker. It doesn't matter if you win or lose. Let's just 7 volley. He almost thought about it then.
Oh, well, I'd be interested. Robbie, Mark, does Tsitsipas win a Grand Slam with this current game style? Does he need? Do you think that will happen?
No.
Not easy.
No, not if he doesn't adapt to the things as far as the chip, getting the slice down, moving a little bit more, looking to move in. You know, tidy up the backhand a little bit more, a little more consistency. But for me, the biggest thing is, you know, is that chip and mixing up the play coming into the net. I mean, he certainly has every other aspect, the mentality, physicality. Because I believe right now he is, you know, Djokovic, Alcaraz and Sinner have taken the game to the next level. You know, Alcaraz and Sinner have that champion mindset. They're working on things as well. Sinner is coming to net a lot more. He's tweaked his serve. They're always trying something, not scared to try something different in their matches, let alone practices.
Yeah, it's fine margins, isn't it? And of course, you know, this is, we're looking at one of the very best, and of course, he's got so close. He's been a finalist at the French and a finalist at last year's Australian Open, but it is such fine margins at that very, very top level of the game. So he can do it.
One of only 2 players to beat Rafa Nadal at a major from 2 sets to love down. Of course, he did that in Australia in 2021. It's the pedigree he possesses. Nice start to the second set.
Yeah, pretty clinical out here at the moment. But Robbie, I think the Australian Open is where he's probably played his best. Yes, I think Clay, maybe his one chance or better chance. I'm not sure. I'm unsure. But I think, remember when he beat Roger Federer at the Australian Open? When he sort of burst onto the scene, that was a cracking match. And that's where he really took the game on, and he was coming forward, finishing at the net. And I just think that type of game style that we saw quite a few years back now was when Tsitsipas was at his absolute best.
Yeah?
Tough to argue against that.
Come on.
I think the argument with regard to the preferred surface is perhaps the clay gives him a bit more time to execute his backhand. I mean, the forehand is world-class on any surface.
Yeah, Robbie doesn't feel as rushed, does he?
Yeah. Peripheral vision.
Very well disguised. Looking to set up the ball like he was going to step into it, and last second, a little grip change. Nicely done.
It came late, that grip change. Tell you which other shot I like from Steph off the backhand side. I don't know if you guys agree, but rather than flattening that backhand out and hitting the pacey one, I like it when he gives the heavy one, Mark.
Robbie, 100, man. That's what he was doing well this time last year.
Yes. Remember us having that discussion in Perth. Because it actually gives him more time to adjust his court position.
And he wasn't focused on hitting any winners on the backhand. It was just about getting that depth, getting back in position in the court to look to use that forehand to run around and smack that forehand.
Yeah.
30-14.
Just looks a little distracted, Stephen Diez, at the moment. He's obviously got a little bit of a niggle. We know that with the hip, and maybe a little bit of an impingement, and it's distracting. Hopefully he can see this one through.
Back-to-back doubles gives Tsitsipas and Team Greece the early break. So winning the set after an early break. Top 100 average is 76%. Tsitsipas well above that. That's testimony to the fact that he's such a good front runner. That's what that stat tells us. When he breaks early, 89% of the time, he converts that into winning the set. And of course, if you want to know what the early break is, that's after breaking serve in one of the first 4 games in a set. So basically 2 looks at your opponent's serve.
Yeah, and he plays so quick between points, Tsitsipas. There's no messing around, and certainly doesn't use his full complement of 25 seconds. So when you're returning, these games sort of can fly by pretty quickly, and I can only imagine Diez feeling really under the pump here.
Yeah, this is Tsitsipas in full flow, and he is racing towards the finishing line. A set and 3-love to the good.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah. Sure.
When we talk about what Stephen's got to deal with, he's got to deal with the firepower of the forehand, and this is the Tsitsipas serve +1. And of course, +1 is using the forehand as often as he can, Mark. And those red balls, of course, symbolic of the forehand shots that he hits after the serve, and completely dominating with that shot.
Yes, not only is that a testament of how good he moves to get around his backhand, but it's how big that serve is, and it's difficult to find the backhand on the return.
16 out of those 20 are forehands. That constitutes 80% of the time he gets to use the forehand. And that ties back into what Josh was saying about what a great mover he is, because if something comes towards his backhand, he's so quick at getting around and then using his best shot.
15-love.
So that's a skill that has been honed from a young age.
Let's go. σφόρχα μικρότερο άνοιγμα. Πάρ' το στο ύψος του ώμου. Έζε σπίνε και κατέβασέ το.
Mark, there's a lot of chatter always in Team Greece, and I'm sure you can hear it through your headphones up there, but they're very, very vocal, aren't they, Team Greece?
I'm sure it's the entire team.
Yeah, just Apostolos.
You know, I sort of don't understand it. He's up 6-2, 3-love, playing brilliantly, and very little stress, and then all of a sudden, I'm just not so sure that needs to be that vocal.
No, I agree with you. That something like that adds to the stress. You know, you're nice and relaxed. Like I said, he's doing it comfortably. But, you know, it's like micromanaging everything.
Simply stunning.
Tough ball. Tough ball. Go Stevie D.
From up here, Josh, it looks like, you know, I want to say maybe it's 85–90% right now for Steph, the way he's hitting the ball. Doing it with ease. The opponent's finding it tough to move. Doesn't help.
It's a good example of a game where he's put enough returns of serve in play. And this is against the guy who doesn't have the biggest of serves, so of course it's just going to get exponentially tougher when he plays against better servers.
Apostolos telling him to open up sooner, quicker on the forehand side on the return.
It's
a good effort. Yeah, it's getting on the board in the second set.
Here you go, Stevie. Come on.
It's nice in a tough situation like this to be able to walk over to the corner and just get that encouragement from your team. And week in and week out, you're there on your own.
It would be nice if you can high-five. You see him get him on the court. I'm sure even now that he's not feeling 100%.
I'm sure Apostolos would like to get on the court.
He's got the racket, I can see him.
Allow 15.
Otherwise, Stevie. Yeah, exactly.
We've got a good view from up here, Robbie, and this stadium is chock-a-block. Great atmosphere out here.
Yeah, it's a sellout. It's a incredible atmosphere courtside. So many Greek supporters, as always, whenever Team Greece plays here, or Sydney, Melbourne, Perth, wherever it is. Very well supported.
Yeah, Josh, right now all around Sydney, there's a lot of cafes with signs on saying, "Be back soon."
15 on.
Yeah, I like it. There's no definitive time, is there? Keep your options open.
It's a nice slider out wide, that one. Again, not one. I mean, I want to stay on this, Josh, but not one serve and volley yet.
That was a serve survey. and volley, which is a little different, right?
Yeah, that does not count, Robbie. Not even close.
That counts for lots. The forehand is plugged into the mains. Starting to rain down winners on that side. $11 now for Tsitsipas.
Again, Tim Britt.
Easy as you like.
Team Greece leads 4 games to 1.
Team Greece with a 4-1 lead. Apostolos has subbed Petros out as team captain, and he's taking responsibility now. Non-stop chatter on that change of ends. Petros, of course, alongside his brother, winning the title in Antwerp. That was a very nice one to share. There he is. Good job. Tennis pro himself. Not as good as his brother on the singles court, but doing a good job of making things happen on the dubs court. Too easy. Too easy.
$15 up.
Need a bit of Adrian Manarino feel in that department.
Led the service.
How good was he today?
Oh, that was just pretty to watch.
Manarino getting the better of Lorenzo Sonego earlier today. Italy took on France. France winning that 3-love to make it through to the knockout stages.
$13 up.
That's the sort of return mark that I would like to see a little more of Stefanos. Even if he's going to stand deep, have intent to use the forehand. Do not allow that ball to go to the backhand side. Just try and get way more forehands on return, even if you miss a few. I just think that's where he's a lot more dangerous.
Well, Diez with a serve volley, and again, being successful at the net, showing some nice hands.
40-15.
Not overplaying that first volley, setting it up, and then covering the net nicely for that put-away volley. Second one. Nice split step, nice punch. Well done.
Let's the service.
Yeah, Josh, even if he misses that ball, show some intent to your opponent that if I get a second serve, I'm gonna hit it. You know, might lose a point there, but score a double fault down the line.
Game. Team Canada.
Well, the second set following a similar sort of pattern to the first. Tsitsipas getting the early break. Canadians just hanging on in there. So next up, it'll be Maria Sakkari against Leylah Fernandez. Maria just giving her body a gentle warm-up. Tom Hill just in front of her, her long-time coach now.
Nice and relaxed. They've even got the that roller, that warm-up accessory they were using for her neck was blue and white. Team Greece.
Details,
Yes.
details. It's all in the details.
It's all in the details, Robbie. Josh, can you do me a favour? Can you yell serve and volley, but in a Greek accent, so he thinks he might be coming from Apostolos?
I need a few tips. And I don't think if I use Apostolos's voice, he'll actually listen, because I don't think he's listening a lot to his dad. That's for sure. I do think, you know, for Stefanos these next couple of months, if he could just be prepared maybe to lose the odd match by being more aggressive, to get better, and to find and hone a few more skills. I'm just not quite sure he would be able to accept that and have that type of mentality to be able to do that under match situation.
No, from you know, I've worked with him for a little while, and then that's, I cannot see him doing that at all. I'd love for him to prove me wrong, though.
Looks like Petros has had a fresh haircut.
He's come prepared, knowing he's going to get a fair bit of airtime.
He's taking a bit of inspiration there from Noah Eagle. Yeah, he has been rock solid behind his serve. And he is racing towards the finishing line now with a 5-2 lead. This is the scene in Perth. Djokovic seems in good spirits. This is Michael Jackson glasses. He'll be up this evening against Alex de Minaur as the Serbians take on the Aussies. Pretty good at everything he does, this guy. Nifty footwork. And He looked in fine fettle in his opening match. And in the Sydney gym, it's Maria who is getting prepared. She, of course, will be up next against Leylah Fernandez. The way things have been going on the match court, it shouldn't be too long. So we've got you covered. Plenty of Greek fans. They'll be in good spirits.
They are ready, thank you.
Their man is just a game away from a first win.
That's a very nice play from Diez, setting it up with that nice backhand down line, opening up, and then staying down nice on this one, finding the line.
Between. Here you go. This point.
That's something out of he needs to do. Is just step into the ball. Look to move in and rip. He's done a good job in this set by only being down a break, and now a couple of game points for 5-3.
Game. Team Canada. Ball change, please. New balls.
Well, to be loving this is getting new balls to try and serve out the match. That's just what you want when you've got a cannon like Stefanos does.
Just a reminder, if the Greeks have a clean sweep here, they will go through top in Group B. But they do need a clean sweep before we get the calculators out. If it's 2-1, if the Greeks win by that margin, we'll start having to work backwards. Oh, that has licked the line. It's seared the line.
That's that dangerous shot. He can hit that anywhere.
That'll work too. Because remember, it's the 3 group winners that go through, and then the next best runner-up right now from Group D and F. That is Germany, who has the best percentages. So they're waiting to see how this one shakes out.
Thirty 15.
Hour and 17 minutes in the making. Tsitsipas has 2 match points. It's a clean kill for Team Greece. Tsitsipas puts them in a strong position with a straight set win over Diez of Canada. 6-2, 6-3. He's got to count himself, despite being hampered with a hip issue. From big bro to little bro. It's a family affair in Team Greece, but most importantly, he has got the win. And they're off to a fine start, Mark.
Yeah, just too much firepower, Robbie. You know, it was a nice way for him to ease into this new year. Unfortunately, he ran into a Diez that was a little injured. We didn't get the chance to see the best of him. You know, they can play some great tennis, but just too much firepower today.
That's what they came to see. This man in full flow. Forehand certainly was. Still room for improvement. Still areas of his game that he'll want to polish up before the first major of the season, but always nice to get a win to get things going. We saw it last year. This was a great precursor to a wonderful start to the season for Tsitsipas. He'll be hoping it's more of the same. Dad's still with instructions. Got to keep the sponsors happy. Fingers crossed we'll see Felix in the doubles a little later this evening. Right now, though, Josh is courtside, and he is going to have a chat with Steph.
Stefanos, congratulations. And of course, you don't really get to play a lot of tournaments at home in Greece, but boy, this must feel pretty similar with all this huge Greek support here.
Guys, I need to hear the questions.
Stefanos, congratulations. You do not get to play a lot of tournaments in your home country in Greece. However, this must feel pretty similar with so much support here tonight.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Sydney, Athens doesn't make any difference right now. I'm out here enjoying playing tennis. A lot of blue and white surrounding the stadium, which is which happens to be my favorite color as well. So it is a great combo. Guys, thank you so much. Let's keep going. There's plenty of tennis to be played, and tonight is going to be a great fight.
I thought you played very well. First match of the season. I thought you were a lot more aggressive than we've seen you at some points in 2023. Is that something you're trying to do a little more this coming season?
I'm generally pretty aggressive. I don't know how much more I can get. Today was a good summary of how aggressive I can be. However, I'm always in pursuit of more, and I'm seeking for extra credibility out of my game, if I can say. So whatever I can add to my game, I'm always willing and open-minded. And I think there's an extra energy whenever I play in Australia, which keeps my blood pumping.
Plenty of energy here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Stefanos. That was awesome, mate. Well done.
Marks out of 10.
7.4, Robbie.
The areas that need specific improvement would be?
Look, we didn't get to see too much of that. You know, he wasn't pressured, I think, at any stage during this match. He was very, you know, pretty comfortable. Sorry, pretty comfortable with his opponent not being able to move at 100%. But, you know, let's see. If they go through, then we'll definitely get tested.
Always nice to get a souvenir from one of your favorite players. Guess not enough serve volley for my money. Such a important area of the game. It's a skill that he has. I would like to see him employ that tactic a bit more. Hopefully we will see some of that aggression. I think that's what Josh was alluding to, being even more aggressive. And almost came in the same number of times as Diez, and when you consider the firepower he has, I reckon that those numbers should be at least 50%, if not double what Diez was.
Yeah, what's surprising, I mean, we knew he's missing a little bit, but 6'2", 6'3", and he's got 19 unforced errors. That, for me, that seems pretty high. Normal, 14 winners on the forehand side. That's always something you're going to see in Steph's favour.
Of course, we want to hold these world-class players accountable to high standards.
Yeah.
And he would want nothing less. Stephen's done. Next up, it'll be Leylah Fernandez. He'll be hoping to get a W for Team Canada. There she is. So my thanks to Josh and Mark. Stick around. Women's singles coming up next.